One, two, one, two, one, two. Man, I was sitting at a table with some prominent motivational speakers. I was at a conference, and it was this young brother. He was sitting there with all of us. I don't know how he got there, but he was just sitting there, and we were all just talking about business and things we want to do in the future, things we've done in the past. And this young cat, he just kept intervening in the conversation. And he was trying to throw his 2 cents in, which I'm not knocking him. He was just trying to show and prove. But I kind of felt the hate kind of coming from him. Every time I said something, he tried to jump and kind of go against what I was saying because he was trying to impress the two older well-known motivational speakers. So we were talking about my business, and I started telling the table about my pricing structure, and I was telling them that, hey, my particular product goes for $10 to $15, per unit. And this little cat, he just immediately jumped in like he was doing before, and he just went in. He was like, "Hey, why would I pay $10 or $15 for your particular product when I can go to a convenience store and get that same product for $1?" And literally, right when he said that, I mean, like instantly, when that shit came out his mouth, I immediately jumped in and told this story. So when he got through saying that, I was like, hey, here's a story for you guys. It was a man who used to get off work every day at 5 o'clock. And when he got off work, he would hop in his car and he would drive past a Ferrari dealership. And every time he passed that dealership, the dealership was closed. So one day, he got off work early and he rode by the Ferrari dealership, and the dealership was open. And he walked into that particular dealership, and a manager came up to him and was like, hey, how you doing? Are you interested in buying one of these cars? So the man was like, hey, I drive by here every day when I get off work, and you all are closed. Why is that? And the manager of that Ferrari dealership looked at that man in the eyes and said, because most people who buy this particular car don't work for somebody. And literally, when I said that, one of the motivational speakers was like, whoa, okay then, moving on. So the point of me saying that was not I was trying to be an asshole. It was that he, the little young man at the table, he's not the customer that I'm catering to. He's not my market. So obviously, I knew my market for the people who would spend $10 to $15 for my product. So, oh man, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot to even introduce myself. Oh, okay. Again, my name is Derek. This is the Opinionated Truth. Number what? 5? No, number 4. Yeah, number 4. Um, just wanted to kind of talk about today's subject is knowing your market. I really get that all of the time. I get a lot of entrepreneurs asking me, "Hey, how did you know your market? How did you find out what your market is? Who is your customer?" When we say market, a lot of times basically who's going to buy your shit. Who is your customer? Who are you trying to get to reach in their pocket and buy your product? Now, I've talked to so many marketing people over the years, and a lot of those people, the first thing they ask you when you have a product and you want them to market it, they'll say, "Yo, what's your budget? What's your budget?" I mean, that's like a little inside thing, but that is the first thing they ask, "What's your budget?" But the second thing they ask is, "Who is your market? Who is your customer? Who do you want to buy your product?" Now, I've noticed that we know as entrepreneurs, we know our product. We know that we got something really really cool, and it's a good product. We talk to uh, our select group of people, i.e., family or friends, and they're like, "Yo, that's a dope product," but we really don't know who to sell it to, who is really interested in buying that product. And I think that takes time, but you have to look at your competitors. So you won't see Ferrari, you won't see them putting a Ferrari dealership in the hood, or you won't see a rapper trying to sell mixtapes at a Frankie, damn, at a Frankie Beverly and Mays concert. You know what I mean? You wouldn't see that. So because why? They know their market. Like, someone's not spending $250,000 for a car who stays in the hood, or that a 55-year-old woman isn't gonna buy a rap mixtape. So you have to find out who your market is. How do you do that? You look at competitors. So Ferrari, they're going to look at their competitor and say, "Okay, who is our competitor? Okay, Lamborghini, Porsche." So where are they putting dealerships at? So that's why you usually see luxury dealerships usually are around each other, or even car dealerships. Usually they see they're all on the same street. Or the mixtape example, you usually see rap mixtapes in convenience stores that's kind of in the hood, which is no knock about get against that, because they know that that's their customer base. So when a marketing firm or marketing agency, they ask that question, "What's your customer?" You should know who your competitors are. And once you know your competitors, then you can basically base your evaluation off that. Now, how do you research your competitors, or how do you even know who your competitors are? That is kind of simple, because if you, again, not trying to beat a dead horse, but if I'm selling cookies, then I'm going to look at Famous Amos. I'm gonna look at Nestle. I'm gonna look at all these different companies that sell cookies. Now, when you're out there marketing it, the product, now that's when you have to get into what makes your product different. So again, if you're making cookies, why is my cookie better than a Nestle cookie? Or going back to the Ferrari example, what makes a Ferrari different from a Lamborghini? because again, both of the cars cost the same amount of money, or they are going after the same customer. So if you're doing your research, then you will know, okay, this person, this particular person in this pay range is going to buy this $250,000 car. So why would he buy this Ferrari over this Lamborghini? Um, I read something one time that they were saying when it comes to brands, the reason why they came up with the word brand is to differentiate the same product from each other. So if you have a cereal and one cereal is called Frosted Flakes and the other is called Sugar Flakes, the Frosted Flakes, they put themselves as a brand and created, I think, Tony the Tiger and all that stuff to differentiate themselves from just a regular Sugar Flakes. But it's the same product. So when they're doing the marketing, they can say, "Hey, little kid, you should want this Frosted Flakes because it has a tiger on it, and particularly you might not want the Sugar Flakes." Now the Sugar Flakes might be a little cheaper. It might be the store brand name, but so the mom might say, "Hey, it's the same thing," and the Sugar Flakes is the same thing as the Frosted Flakes, but the kid wants the Frosted Flakes because it has a tiger on it and is known as a brand. So getting back to what I was saying, but just when it comes to marketing, you should know what your competitors are, but most importantly, you should know your product. Again, that's just my personal opinion. It has helped me in my business, and it's kind of helped me become mildly successful in marketing and selling my product, because again, from the get-go, I really knew what my product was, and most importantly, I knew who my customer was. So that's just my 2 cents. Thanks.